Hey everyone, today we're going to jump into a chapter that, let's be honest, a lot of us tend to just skim. Genesis chapter 5. At first glance, it really does just look like a long list of names that are tough to pronounce. But I'm going to promise you something. By the end of this, you're going to see it in a whole new light. This isn't just filler. It's one of the most brilliant, carefully constructed chapters in the whole book. So let's get into it.
Right? I mean, we've all been there. You're reading along and suddenly it's, Adam lived this long, then he had a son, then he had more kids, and he died. Then Seth lived that long, had a son, more kids, and he died. You can't help but wonder, okay, what is the point of all this?
But what if I told you this list is anything but boring? The author, Moses, put this genealogy here for some very, very specific reasons. It's actually a masterclass in storytelling. It's a structural bridge, it's a theological roadmap, it's a confirmation of a terrible promise, and it even has a hidden prophecy tucked inside.
So, first things first, let's talk about its job in the story. This chapter is, above all, a narrative bridge. Just think about where we are in the book. Humanity has fallen from grace, they're out of Eden, and things are already starting to go downhill. Now, the author needs to get us from the very first man, Adam, to the next major player in the story, Noah, without getting totally lost in hundreds and hundreds of years of history. So what does he do? He zooms in on one very specific family line, the line of Seth, and basically hits the fast-forward button.
And here's the telltale sign that this is intentional. Almost every single entry in this chapter has this little phrase, "and had other sons and daughters." That's a huge clue for us. It's Moses telling us, hey, I'm not giving you the whole family tree of everybody who ever lived. Nope, he's shining a massive spotlight on one specific lineage to show us exactly how the story gets to Noah.
All right, let's tackle the elephant in the room. The thing that makes everybody's eyebrows go up when they read this chapter. These unbelievably long lifespans.
And of course, the most famous one of all is Methuselah. The guy lived to be 969 years old. That's the oldest age mentioned anywhere in the Bible. So, what do we do with that? How are we supposed to understand numbers that just seem impossible by today's standards?
Well, there are basically two main ways to look at this. The first is the literal view. It says, yep, people really did live that long. And folks who take this view might point to things like a much purer human gene pool before centuries of mutations piled up. Or maybe the environment before the flood was totally different, protecting people from things like cosmic radiation. Then there's the figurative view. This suggests the numbers aren't meant to be read like a driver's license. They could be symbolic, maybe based on ancient numerology systems, or they're trying to communicate a big theological idea in a way that an ancient audience would have totally gotten, but we kind of missed today.
But honestly, beyond the ages, there's a pattern in this chapter that's even more powerful. Once you hear it, you can't unhear it. It's like this constant, steady, rhythmic drumbeat in the background.
It all starts with the very first man, Adam. He lived an incredible 930 years, and he died.
His son, Seth, lived 912 years, and he died.
Seth's son, Enoch, lived 905 years, and he died. You see it? This pattern repeats 8 times. It's like the author's just hammering home this crucial, devastating point. God's warning back in the Garden of Eden, it came true. Sin is in the world, and its awful consequence, death, is now the unavoidable reality for every single human being. From dust you are, and to dust you will return.
But just when that bleak pattern feels completely unbreakable, just when the drumbeat seems like it's going to go on forever, Moses completely shatters it with one stunning, breathtaking exception.
This is the key. The formula changes completely. For every single other person on the list, the story ends the same way. And he died. But not Enoch. For Enoch, Moses throws in this brand new detail. He walked faithfully with God. And instead of dying, the Bible says he was no more because God took him. It's a radical break in the pattern. It's a tiny, brilliant glimmer of hope.
So what does it even mean to walk with God? Well, it's talking about something way deeper than just following a set of rules. It suggests this intimate, daily, real relationship. In the middle of this relentless story about death, Enoch's life screams that a relationship with God can be so real, so powerful, that it can actually overcome death itself. He's this incredible sign of hope in a really dark world.
And if you thought that was cool, the chapter saves one of its most amazing secrets for Enoch's son, the very same guy who lived to be the oldest man ever, Methuselah.
Now, we know Enoch wasn't just a faithful man. He was also considered a prophet. And it seems he gave his son a name that was actually a prophecy. The name Methuselah is widely understood to mean something along the lines of
When he is dead, it shall be sent. A little ominous, right? It's basically a prophecy of a coming judgment that would be unleashed the year he died.
And this is where it gets really mind-blowing. If you do the math, if you actually calculate the ages and timelines given right there in Genesis, the Great Flood begins in the very same year that Methuselah dies. The prophecy in his name came true. But think about this for a second. His incredibly long life wasn't just a random number. You can see it as this profound symbol of God's patience, giving humanity the longest possible time, a whole 969 years, to turn back before judgment finally arrived.
So, let's just recap. Is this a boring list? Not a chance. It connects the whole story, getting us from Adam to Noah. It confirms the grim reality of death after the fall. It contrasts that darkness with the shining hope of faith we see in Enoch. And it calculates a hidden timeline of judgment and incredible patience, all through the life of Methuselah.
It's just a powerful reminder that something that looks simple on the surface, like a list of names, can be packed with layers of meaning and purpose, which, leads to a final thought. If God could embed that much purpose in an ancient genealogy, what kind of purpose might be hidden in your story?